In the heart of the great Jura forest, cradle of the Federation of Tempest founded by Rimuru, a myriad of races coexist: goblins, orcs, lizardmen, and many others, each contributing to the foundation of this visionary nation. Among these peoples, one clan once stood out for its raw power and nobility: the ogres, warriors of formidable strength, feared and respected throughout the forest. But a tragedy orchestrated by a demon lord plunged this clan into darkness, reducing them to a mere handful of survivors. These few, guided by fate, found refuge with Rimuru, swearing to serve him as his loyal subordinates. Among them emerged an iconic figure, a charismatic leader whose name resonates as a symbol of loyalty and strength: Benimaru, the Lord of Flames. This warrior, son of the ogre chief, became one of the pillars of Tempest, Rimuru's right-hand man, and a living legend whose feats illuminate the battlefield. In this story, inspired by canonical events up to Volume 21 of Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken, we will dive into Benimaru's history, explore his colossal strength, his great achievements, his unwavering loyalty, and even his more personal aspects, such as his tastes or romantic ties. Fasten your seatbelts for a complete and captivating analysis designed to immerse you in the epic of this blazing hero. Benimaru, honored with the prestigious title of Lord of Flames, embodies the quintessence of the Oni warrior. With his striking red hair, intense crimson eyes, and 2 elegant black horns, he radiates an aura of nobility and determination. His character, shaped by a sharp sense of justice and a visceral hatred of injustice, makes him both inspiring and unyielding. At first, Benimaru followed Rimuru out of respect for an ancient law among monsters: obey the strongest. But after witnessing Rimuru's resounding victory over the Orc Lord, he was captivated by the vision and kindness of this extraordinary master. Swearing eternal loyalty, Benimaru became one of the first senior officers of Tempest, receiving the role of Commander-in-Chief in charge of leading the entire military force of the nation. Once impulsive and quick to confrontation, he matured through years of rigorous training under Hakuru's tutelage and the many trials overcome alongside Rimuru. Today, Benimaru is a calm, strategic, and respected leader, an indispensable pillar of the Federation. What sets Benimaru apart is the absolute trust that Rimuru places in him. Considered his right-hand man, he is the subordinate in whom the Demon Lord places his greatest hopes, a mark of respect that elevates him even above such powerful figures as Zeigion or Diablo. But Benimaru is not just a stoic warrior. He reveals an unexpected side, a deep love for sweets. A fan of crispy tempuras and sugary desserts like cream puffs, he carries on a family tradition, as his father himself once brought confections to the battlefield. This passion for sweets, inherited from his lineage, adds a human touch to this war colossus, making him all the more endearing. Over the course of his journey, Benimaru has accumulated a series of titles and distinctions, each reflecting his crucial role in the rise of Tempest. These titles, born from his loyalty and exploits, are a testament to his unique status among Rimuru's subordinates. Commander-in-Chief. From the moment he joined Tempest, Benimaru was appointed Commander-in-Chief, a colossal responsibility that grants him command over all armed forces. Whether it was during the war against the Kingdom of Farmus, the confrontation with Clayman's army, the battles against the Holy Knights, the campaign against the Eastern Empire, or the Great Tenma War, Benimaru led the troops with unmatched mastery. Thanks to his ultimate skill, Amaterasu, he amplifies the power of his allies, making Tempest's army invincible under his command. This absolute trust from Rimuru, who entrusts him with military management, a domain where no mistakes are allowed, highlights Benimaru's strategic importance. Rimuru's right-hand man. Over time, Benimaru has established himself as Rimuru's most reliable subordinate, earning the unofficial title of right-hand man. Despite the presence of such impressive figures as Zeigion, the Master of the Labyrinth, or Diablo, the Primordial Black, it is Benimaru who enjoys his master's deepest trust, a distinction that places him at the very top of the executive hierarchy. Leader of the Big Four. During the founding festival of Tempest, a martial tournament was held, drawing fighters from all walks of life. To prevent Tempest's executives from unbalancing the competition, Rimuru created the honorary title of the Big Four, a distinction reserved for his most powerful lieutenants. Benimaru was named leader of this quartet, alongside Shion, Diablo, and, surprisingly, Gobta. Although this title is mainly honorary, intended to impress foreign dignitaries, it reinforces Benimaru's prestige within the nation. Guardian Lord. As a member of the 12 Guardian Lords, Benimaru holds an elite position among the protectors of Rimuru and Tempest. This group, made up of 12 executives bound to Rimuru by soul links, reached the rank of Demon Lord during the war against the Empire. Their mission, to guarantee the safety of their master and of the nation, a task that Benimaru accomplishes with unwavering dedication. The 12 Guardian Lords, these elite champions serving Rimuru, form an impenetrable bulwark around the Federation of Tempest. Each of them, through souls granted by Rimuru or acquired from the Empire, has transcended the limits of mortality to achieve the awakening of Demon Lords. This apotheosis grants them functional immortality, freeing them from any need for succession. In the long run, their role will focus on critical missions such as major conflicts or strategic research, freeing these titans from administrative duties to maximize their impact. Each member of this select circle bears the title of Lord, a symbol of their power and loyalty. For those not yet aware, I've created an updated video ranking Rimuru's 12 Guardian Lords with juicy new information, so if you're curious, be sure to check it out afterward. Thank you. Benimaru, as the Lord of Flames, shines among them, his blazing aura embodying the strength and honor of Tempest. The forces under Benimaru's command. As Commander-in-Chief, Benimaru reigns over the entire army of Tempest, a responsibility that makes every soldier, from the humblest to the mightiest, his subordinate. Among these forces, one elite group stands out, the Crimson Flames, a unit of 300 ogres placed directly under his command. Originally, these warriors were goblins, among the first to join Tempest. Inspired by the greatness of Benimaru and his companions, they evolved into ogres, a transformation that reflects their admiration and determination. Led by Captain Gobua, a warrior ranked A+, this unit is composed of members of at least A rank, each mastering advanced techniques and equipped with enchanted armor. In times of war, these elite soldiers are capable of leading entire legions, boosting the strategic efficiency of Tempest. Their discipline and power make the Crimson Flames a key asset in battle, capable of turning the tide in even the most desperate of fights. Benimaru's romantic life. Far from the battlefield, Benimaru reveals a more intimate side through his romantic relationships. He is married to two exceptional women, Momiji and Albis, a union that illustrates the complexity and depth of his character. Initially rivals, Momiji and Albis overcame their differences to become friends and eventually wives, binding their souls to Benimaru's in a traditional monster marriage where spiritual bonds take precedence. This alliance, sealed by Rimuru's will and the efforts of the two women, was made official during a public declaration in which Benimaru, with moving solemnity, vowed to cherish and protect his two wives. Momiji, the first wife, daughter of Hakuryu, the swordmaster, and Kaede, the leader of the Tengu. Momiji is a young woman with a delicate appearance, wrapped in magical armor that contrasts with her youthful face. Heir to her mother's colossal power and acting as the interim leader of the Tengu, she combines a legitimate pride with an endearing personality. Her tsundere temperament, mixing arrogance with softness, makes her a beloved figure, a warrior princess whose charm wins hearts. Her love for Benimaru, forged through mutual admiration, blossoms in tender complicity. Albis, the second wife. Former lieutenant of Carrion, Albis is a serpentine yokai, leader of the Mountain Clan. Her black hair streaked with gold and her captivating emerald eyes give her an enchanting beauty, further enhanced by her elegant appearance, dressed in a white kimono trimmed with red and wielding an enchanted chain. Albis embodies serene grace, but her past in the beast kingdom of Eurozania has forged within her a predator's mentality, where the law of the strongest reigns. Her obsession with those she loves, be they people or objects, reflects her serpentine nature. In love, she acts with strategic finesse, weaving deep ties with Benimaru through subtle yet determined gestures. The origins of Benimaru, a predestined encounter with Rimuru. Benimaru's story is closely tied to that of Rimuru. When the ogres were decimated by an attack orchestrated by a demon lord, Benimaru, Shuna, Hakaru, Kurobe, Shion and Soe survived and fled their homeland. Wandering through the Jura forest, they crossed paths with Rimuru's guards, led by Rigurd. A tragic misunderstanding, fueled by the resemblance between Rimuru's mask and that of Footman, one of the perpetrators of the attack on their clan, triggered a confrontation. Benimaru, alongside Hakaru, challenged Rimuru, driven by grief and vengeance. But Rimuru's overwhelming power ended the fight, and Shuna's explanations cleared the misunderstanding. Invited to a banquet in Rimuru's village, the ogres discovered their host's kindness, marking the beginning of their loyalty to him. Benimaru's exploits. The Orc Lord's defeat. During the banquet, Benimaru told Rimuru and Rigurd about the tragic circumstances of the attack on his clan. Determined to avenge his people, he accepted Rimuru's offer to serve as a mercenary until the Orc Lord was defeated. Baptized by Rimuru, Benimaru and his companions evolved into Kijin, reaching a rank above A transformation that greatly enhanced their power. Commissioned by Traini, the Dryad Guardian of the Forest, they set out to confront the Orc Lord. As Commander-in-Chief, Benimaru led the operations with natural authority, unleashing his devastating technique, Hell Flare, a wide-area annihilation spell that reduced legions of orcs to ashes. Faced with the Orc Lord and his General Gelmud, the Kijin's superiority was overwhelming. Despite being outnumbered, Benimaru dominated the battlefield, his leadership and strength forging Tempest's first major victory. Mission to Eurazania, a fiery ambassador. After the victory against the Orc Lord, Benimaru was sent as an emissary to Eurazania, the Beast Kingdom ruled by Carrion. This diplomatic mission, aimed at strengthening the ties between Tempest and its neighbors, highlighted Benimaru's versatility. When Rimuru concluded a friendship treaty with Carrion, Demon Lord of Eurazania, a delegation exchange was arranged to reinforce the bond between the two nations. Benimaru, chosen as Tempest's representative, set out for the Beast Kingdom, not without receiving repeated warnings from Rimuru. Avoid provocations and unnecessary conflicts. True to his fiery nature, Benimaru ignored these warnings and once there, deliberately sought to test Eurazania's strength. He provoked a duel with Phobio, one of Carrion's lieutenants, and defeated him effortlessly. However, when he faced Carrion himself, Benimaru was utterly defeated, a humbling lesson that left a deep impression on him. This setback, far from discouraging him, allowed him to recognize Eurazania's strength and reliability as an ally. Rimuru, both amused and exasperated by his general's initiative, decided to limit Benimaru's external missions, temporarily assigning him to defensive duties in Tempest to better channel his energy. Failure against Farmus. A tragic lesson. A dark moment in Benimaru's career occurred during Rimuru's absence while he was on a mission in the Kingdom of Ingracia. An alert sounded. An army from the Kingdom of Farmus was approaching Tempest. As Commander-in-Chief, Benimaru immediately sent Sue to investigate, sensing an imminent conflict. Shortly afterward, an urgent magical message from Albis, coming from Eurazania, announced a declaration of war from Milim, triggering a flood of refugees. Overwhelmed by these sudden events and unable to reach Rimuru, Benimaru found himself in a difficult position. While he was trying to manage the crisis, Otherworlders attacked Tempest, followed shortly by Farmus's army, using the chaos as a pretext for invasion. When Benimaru arrived on the battlefield, the disaster had already unfolded. Shion and Gobzo had died, and the city was suffering devastating losses. Enraged, Benimaru captured Mulan, a mage involved in casting a catastrophic spell, but his fury drove him to brutalize her, until Rimuru returned, clarified the situation, and took over. Triumph against Clayman's army. When Rimuru left for Walpurgis, Benimaru was assigned to defend Eurasania against Clayman's invading forces. Commanding a joint force of Tempest and Eurasania soldiers, Benimaru demonstrated his full strategic brilliance. Faced with hordes of Clayman's minions, his army, empowered by his evolution and his mastery of fire, crushed the enemy within the opening moments. The battle was a show of strength, a one-sided slaughter where victory was never in doubt. Benimaru himself faced off against Charybdis, a creature summoned through Clayman's schemes. While Albis, despite her strength, had failed to defeat the beast, Benimaru incinerated it in an instant, an achievement that deeply impressed Albis. That moment marked the beginning of her admiration for him, laying the foundation for their future relationship. When the manipulations of the Seven Sages pushed Hinata and Rimuru into a confrontation, the Holy Knights of Ruberios clashed with Tempest's executives. Benimaru faced Arnaud, the second strongest knight after Hinata. The fight was so one-sided that the author omitted the details. Benimaru crushed his opponent with disconcerting ease. These victories solidified his reputation as an invincible warrior, capable of defeating even the elites of a holy nation. When Tempest formed an alliance with the magical dynasty of Sarion to build a magical railway, Benimaru was tasked with negotiating with the Tengu of the Kusha mountain range near the proposed route. Accompanied by Albis, he met Kaide, the leader of the Tengu, and her daughter Momiji, who turned out to be Hakuru's child. This revelation stunned Benimaru, but the situation became even more complicated when Kaide insisted he marry Momiji. Back in Tempest, this unexpected proposal caused tension with Albis, who, jealous, voiced her displeasure. Despite these conflicts, the negotiations succeeded, not without some complications, strengthening the bond between Tempest and the Tengu, escort to the Council of the West. After reconciling with Ruberios, Tempest was officially recognized as a legitimate nation by the Western countries, gaining a seat on the Council of the West. Benimaru accompanied Rimuru to Ingratia as an escort, ready to protect his master. During the tournament held for the occasion, a plot orchestrated by Mariabel and an attack from Glenda shook the event. However, thanks to the intervention of Shuna and Shion, the crisis was resolved before Benimaru had to intervene, demonstrating the collective strength of Tempest's top brass. War against the Empire, a bold strategy. When the Eastern Empire launched its offensive, Benimaru led operations from the control room of the underground labyrinth. During the defensive Battle of Dwagon, he devised a risky strategy: to feign weakness in order to lure the enemy into revealing hidden assets, hoping to identify a threat capable of challenging Rimuru. Although brilliant, this tactic was misunderstood by Rimuru, who, believing his forces were in danger, interrupted the ruse in anger. Despite this failure, the operation showed Benimaru's ability to think several moves ahead, cementing his role as a top-class strategist. The defensive Battle of Dwagon, the first clash against the Eastern Empire, was a decisive turning point orchestrated by Benimaru. Following Rimuru's order to get serious, the forces of Tempest, galvanized by their commander-in-chief, unleashed their full power. The result was an overwhelming victory, not a single casualty for Tempest, while the enemy was annihilated to the last soldier. This demonstration of force, conducted under Benimaru's unwavering leadership, sent a clear message. The Federation of Tempest was an unstoppable power, ready to defend its borders with overwhelming efficiency, duel against Bernie, mastery of the divine blade. At the heart of the war against the Empire, an unexpected event shook the underground labyrinth. Bernie and Jiwoo, two companions of Masayuki, revealed their true identities as members of the Imperial Guardians and betrayed Tempest. Benimaru found himself up against Bernie, an opponent possessing an ultimate skill, Absolute Blade, which gave him a considerable edge. Despite the disparity, Benimaru demonstrated exceptional technique, rivaling the legendary precision of Zijin. His combat prowess, the result of rigorous training under Hakuru's guidance, even impressed Rimuru. Recognizing his talent, Rimuru transmitted a fragment of his power to Benimaru via the Soul Corridor. Absolute Severance, a skill capable of cutting through anything. With this trump card, Benimaru instantly neutralized Bernie's advantage, reducing him to nothing in a swift duel, further cementing his reputation as an elite warrior. Trapped in the war against the Empire, strategic resilience. To deliver a decisive blow to Emperor Rudra, Benimaru accompanied Rimuru on a daring incursion into the heart of the Empire. But a trap awaited them. They were imprisoned in a parallel dimension, infinite prison. The sudden loss of the connection with Veldora sent Rimuru into a fiery rage, prompting an immediate return to Tempest via teleportation. Amid the chaos, Benimaru showed remarkable composure, analyzing the situation with exemplary clarity. Through mental transmission, he ordered the remaining executives to switch to emergency mode, organizing an impenetrable defense. When Rimuru departed to confront Veldora and Velgrind, Benimaru, alongside Shion, Sue, and the three primordial demonesses, targeted the enemy's flagship. Trapped in a dimensional space by a Velgrind clone, they were forced to fight the Eight Sages, an elite imperial unit. Benimaru confronted Granid, known as the God of War, third of the Imperial Guardians and stronger than Tatsuya Kondu. Despite Granid's advantage, bolstered by an ultimate skill, ultimate enchantment, granted by Michael, Benimaru struggled at first, but the evolution of Raphael into Ciel changed everything. Accepting a proposed power modification from Ciel, Benimaru acquired the ultimate skill Amaterasu, a power inspired by Velgrind, combining domination of light and heat. With this new power, he unleashed Dark Flame, 100 blooming flowers, a technique surpassing even the teachings of Hakaru and Araki Byakuya, defeating Granid in a dazzling display. The Great Tenma War, a duel against Jahil. When Dino informed Rimuru of an imminent attack by the angelic armies on Leon's territory, Benimaru accompanied his master to aid the Demon Lord. Confronted by Jahil, the first general of the Holy Emperor, and an entity 5 times stronger in terms of existence value, Benimaru displayed astounding skill. Both being flame specialists, they engaged in a battle of equals. Despite being at a technical disadvantage, Benimaru used his tactical mastery to buy time. His strategy of prolonging the fight without yielding allowed them to hold out until Feldway ordered a retreat, once again proving Benimaru's brilliance on the battlefield. Defense of Sarion, a legendary command. When Milim, under Feldway's control, launched a devastating assault on the magical dynasty of Sarion, Benimaru was appointed commander of the Allied forces by Empress Elmesia, an exceptional decision for a foreigner. Faced with a critical situation, as Milim's goal was to destroy the sacred artifact containing the world's calamities, Benimaru executed a masterful strategy. Leading Sarion's armies with unmatched precision, he coordinated reinforcements across every front, repelling the angelic assaults led by Jahil and his legions. Thanks to a new ability, Kiyomu Kyoku, or Nihility Supply, granted by Ciel, Benimaru managed to counter Milim's attacks, protecting Sarion from imminent destruction. His performance left Elmesia and her generals astonished, solidifying his reputation as an exceptional commander. Second invasion of the labyrinth, unshakable vigilance. When news of Rimuru's disappearance spread, panic threatened to overwhelm Tempest. Aware of the past mistakes during the Farmers' attack, Benimaru remained calm and restored order among the citizens. But a new threat arose. Vega, leading the surviving angelic army, launched a second invasion of the underground labyrinth. As commander-in-chief, Benimaru took control of the defense, prepared to face this new ordeal with his characteristic resolve. Faced with the renewed invasion of the underground labyrinth by Vega's angelic forces, Benimaru once again stood as the ultimate bulwark of Tempest. Leading an elite army among the world's most powerful, he faced fearsome opponents including Vega, whose skills could erode the labyrinth's very structure, and Zelanus, the Insect Emperor, a being of colossal power. True to his legendary composure, Benimaru coordinated the defense with unrelenting precision, delegating key tasks to his allies. Thanks to the synergy of Tempest's forces, particularly Zegion and the other executives, the assault was repelled without Benimaru even needing to directly intervene. This brilliant victory, achieved without major losses, reinforced the labyrinth's reputation as an impregnable fortress. and Benimaru's status as an unparalleled strategist. Benimaru's power, a force at the pinnacle of Tempest. Benimaru, one of Rimuru's first subordinates, rose to become one of the Federation's greatest champions through unwavering dedication and exceptional talent. Holding prestigious titles such as leader of the 4 Heavenly Kings and member of the 12 Guardian Lords, he is acknowledged as one of Tempest's 3 central pillars alongside Zegion and Diablo. Rimuru's absolute trust in him makes him not only a military leader, but also a central figure in the nation's very soul. His power, forged through years of combat and training, places him at the very top of Tempest's forces. Let's explore the facets of this titanic strength, from his evolution to his devastating skills. Evolution, from ogre to warrior god. When Benimaru swore loyalty to Rimuru to fight the Orc Lord, his baptism by the Demon Lord triggered a spectacular transformation. From an ogre, he became a Kijin, reducing his physical size slightly, but exponentially increasing his magic energy. During the Harvest Festival, marking Rimuru's ascension to Demon Lord, Benimaru received a divine gift through the Soul Corridor, acquiring new abilities and heightened strength. Later, after the war against the Eastern Empire, Rimuru granted him 100,000 souls, a catalyst for his ultimate apotheosis. Benimaru evolved into a flaming divine spirit, a being whose power surpasses that of awakened demon lords. His existence value reached an incredible 4,397,778, already an astonishing level. With the evolution of his favorite weapon, the Crimson Blade, and the addition of the glowing sacred armor valued at $1,140,000, his total power reaches 5,537,778, placing him among the most formidable entities in the world of Tensura. Skills: the brilliance of Amaterasu. Benimaru's growth was accompanied by an ever-increasing mastery of his skills. During the Harvest Festival, he acquired the unique skill Grand Marshal, a power of exceptional versatility focused on manipulating energies and wills. In the heart of the war against the Empire, when facing colossal opponents, Grand Marshal evolved, under CL's guidance, into the ultimate skill Amaterasu, inspired by Velgrin's draconic abilities, combining domination of light and heat. This power encompasses elite skills: thought acceleration, universal perception, Demon Lord's Haki, control of will, domination of light and heat, space-time manipulation, and multiple barriers. Space-time manipulation, originally known as spatial domination, was refined in Volume 21 to counter suspended world or time-stop abilities, suggesting a possible evolution of multiple barriers into multi-dimensional barriers. The core of Amaterasu lies in 2 major effects: Kagero, a supreme technique that dissolves Benimaru's physical form, rendering him immune to both physical and magical attacks. This absolute evasion, worthy of the greatest masters of the shadows, grants him near-perfect invulnerability. Demonic Flame, a mastery of superheated flames, wrapping the Crimson Blade in an incandescent aura capable of slicing through anything, from enchanted armor to magical barriers. Technical Mastery, a divine swordsman. Benimaru's rigorous training under Hakuryu, combined with his battles against legendary foes, forged an unmatched sword technique. Recognized by Hakuryu himself, who awarded him a certificate of mastery, Benimaru's swordsmanship now surpasses that of his mentor. Able to wield his abilities with surgical precision, he can even channel Rimuru's destruction nihility energy to enhance his attacks, an exploit reserved for only a select few. Signature Techniques. Benimaru's techniques are masterpieces of destruction, combining speed, power, and elegance. His signature move, Dark Flame, 100 Blooming Flowers, is an evolution of the 8 Cherry Blossoms 100 Flowers technique from the Oboro school. This strike unleashes 100 blazing slashes at divine speed, annihilating everything in their path. Another technique, Furnace Acceleration, utilizes the nihility supply granted by CL, fusing Amaterasu's flames with Rimuru's raw energy to create an overwhelmingly powerful attack capable of rivaling cosmic forces. These techniques, unique to Benimaru, make him a warrior without equal, where every strike reshapes the battlefield. Nihility Supply. Only a few elite executives, including Benimaru, have been granted permission to handle Rimuru's destruction Nihility energy, an incomprehensibly powerful force. This privilege, named Nihility Supply, allows Benimaru to amplify his techniques, turning his attacks into planetary-scale catastrophes. This ability, reserved for Rimuru's closest lieutenants, is a testament to the absolute trust placed in him. Mastering Nihility Supply. A cosmic power. Among Tempest's elite, only the three pillars, Benimaru, Diablo, and Zegion, have received the rare privilege of manipulating Rimuru's destruction Nihility energy, a force of near-divine magnitude. This ability demands extreme technical skill and resilience, described by Diablo as opening a gate to immeasurable power. However, this access comes with grave consequences, as wielding such energy places tremendous strain on both body and spirit. Thanks to his martial genius, Benimaru has successfully integrated this force into his techniques, achieving a level of power that rivals even furious State Milim. During the defense of Sarion, he channeled this energy into his arts, unleashing attacks of such intensity that they repelled strikes from the Sky Dragon, proving that his mastery of Nihility Supply places him among the most fearsome beings in the world of Tensura. Benimaru, a champion of many facets. This journey through the legend of Benimaru, Lord of Flames, revealed a character of exceptional depth. Far more than just a warrior, he is the beating heart of Tempest, a leader whose strength, intelligence, and loyalty make him an indispensable pillar. A member of the three pillars alongside Diablo and Zegion, he shines not only through his exploits on the battlefield, but also for his crucial roles behind the scenes. From diplomacy in Eurasiania, negotiations with the Tengu, to his masterful command during the defense of Sarion. In Volume 21, his strategic leadership during the second invasion of the underground labyrinth enabled Tempest to repel Vega's angelic army, reinforcing the nation's reputation for invincibility. Yet Benimaru is more than his military feats. His love for sweets, inherited from his father, and his personal life, marked by his marriage to two extraordinary women, Momiji and Albis, add a human touch to this colossus. This contrast between his devastating power and approachable charm makes him a rare, deep character, an epic and endearing hero. Whether you're fascinated by his blazing techniques like Dark Flame, 100 Blooming Flowers, impressed by his strategic brilliance, or amused by his craving for cream puffs, Benimaru is a character who leaves no one indifferent. And what about his married life, with two wives as beautiful as they are talented? What are your thoughts on this champion of Tempest? Which moment in his journey left the greatest impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like if this dive into the world of Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken captivated you. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming isekai adventures. Thank you, community, for your incredible support. See you soon for more epic tales.